Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first Dream Team chat of 2025. Happy New Year. Happy New Year of your business, right? Clean slate, perhaps. Maybe you're getting ready to step into a new season of growth or changing up some things in your business, or maybe you're just making small but pivotal changes. Whatever the case may be, so happy that you're here, and welcome to 2025. I know Alex and I are really, really excited for what this year of business is going to bring, both Scentsy wide and team wide. And so we're pumped. We are literally so pumped. And so tonight I am going to be just kicking off our first Dream Team chat of the new year with this idea that came to me actually on Sunday in church. My pastor was talking about this, and it was rolling around in my brain. And then as we got closer to tonight, and I was thinking about what I want to talk to you all about, I think that it just fits in so well, even though this was from initially a biblical perspective. I love this idea of dreams and visions, what that looks like. Are you a dreamer or are you a visionary? Like, do you see the vision and roll out the plans to achieve it? Or are you someone who thinks of the pretty picture and dreams about it, and then somebody else can come along and fulfill it? And I want to say, I want to clarify, like, you can be either one or you can be both. I think different situations may call for different people, and if you feel like you're both, maybe you're a dreamer in some situations and you're a visionary in others. I think it just depends on our role and our season of life. But tonight I want to obviously specifically talk about us in these roles in our business, in our Scentsy business. Okay, and I'm going to give you some like tangible things that I want you to kind of hold on to, and kind of take with you as you move throughout your Scentsy business this year, keeping the dreaming and the vision and the difference in mind, right? Because I think that the Scentsy business kind of requires us to be both. And I'm going to go through that. But I wanted to start out with kind of the difference between a dreamer and a visionary. And I found a really cool not I did find a really cool definition, but I don't know how many different definitions there are, but this was the first one that I found. And it says a dream is more passive imagination, while a vision is an active, planned aspiration to create change. Okay, so very specific changes in wording here. The first one that pops out to me is passive, right? And, we hear that term like passive aggressive, where it's like it's not direct. It can kind of fly over your head if you're not paying attention. And so, obviously we think of dreaming like while we're sleeping, right? And it's very passive because we're not actively thinking of whatever we're dreaming about in terms of like, okay, I'm going to go to bed and dream about this, or cognitively we're not using brain power to do that. That's an imagination thing, and it's very passive. But a vision is an active, planned aspiration to create change. And I love that last part of it, because that recognizes that you're not just seeing something intentionally, but you are planning, you're doing the things necessary to do something different in the future, towards that aspiration, towards that vision that you see, right? So one is passive and one is very direct and one is very intentional. And like I said, I think that there's room for both, if you feel like you belong in both categories. But I'd love for you to tell me in the chat which one you resonate with more, just kind of in general. Do you feel like you're more of a dreamer, where you have this, like, you have all these ideas and you're like, I would love for somebody else to go out and do that? Or maybe you don't feel like you're that person, but you have these big dreams. Or are you a visionary, where you're like, I can see it actually unfolding and I'm going to go out and I'm going to achieve it? And so I'd love to know where we kind of stand in that. And as you guys do that, I just want to encourage you as I talk more about the visionary part of it tonight, because I don't think that your business should be passive. I do want to make sure that I focus on the importance of being a dreamer, right? Because I believe that it takes both in this business. And I think there are key elements in Scentsy that allow people who resonate more with the visionary to allow Scentsy to kind of have a hold on the dreamer aspect. And the reason I say that is the incentive is a great example. Our big incentive trips, what we're working towards right now, every 6 months they give us a new one, and every 6 months we're working towards it, and or every 6 months, and that's that idea of Scentsy is giving you a dream, right? Scentsy is putting something on the table that they have come up with and that they have um, laid out the opportunity of, right? Which is right now it's that amazing cruise to Greece and Turkey, right? And they say, here's the dream. Here's what could be for you, for anybody in this business. This is what could be, right? But it takes a visionary to actually get there. It takes a visionary to map out the plan in order to achieve going on this trip, right? It turns us into visionaries while Scentsy has given us the dream. Okay. And there are markers in our own Scentsy businesses where we, for instance, I didn't finish my thought, but I'm just going to give you another example in a smaller context. When I first joined Scentsy, I I guess I was a dreamer because I didn't know what was necessarily possible. So my dreams were very small in size, and in terms of like what my actual goal was with Scentsy. I didn't see the vision. And we talk about that a lot with Scentsy. It's like we're looking to recruit people who see the vision of Scentsy, who see um, the long-term beautiful mapped out version of what this business could be, because those are the ones who are going to take the steps necessary to get there, that creates like long and wide, healthy, thriving businesses, right? But when I first joined Scentsy, I guess I was a dreamer, because I didn't see the vision in the beginning. And I don't believe that I saw the vision until Scentsy gave me the dream and I achieved it, which was my first incentive, the Mediterranean cruise, right? They gave me this dream and I said, okay, I think I can do that. And I did it. And then I went and I was sold, right? And then I said, okay, I see the vision. I see how this could be a long-term thing. I can see, when I got my first big paycheck, okay, I can see how it can make me money. I see the vision. I'm not just dreaming about the $10,000 paycheck, right? I envisioned it and I worked towards it because I saw other people made it happen. And so having a dream, being a dreamer in this is actually really great. And I think it requires both. And you have to decide what one you're going to implement this year, right? And what one you're going to tap into more. And I would say that if you are a dreamer, then you really need to tap into the visionary part of it, and figure out what turns that key, what unlocks that door for you. What do you need to see that you are willing to take the reins on and decide you're going to map out to get to, right? And reflecting on the year before can really help you with that, where you're looking at what you achieved, what you want to achieve moving forward, right? When I'm thinking about my goals of 2025, I can see how my Scentsy business could help me achieve some of those goals, even though they have nothing to do with Scentsy, right? And that's the beauty of having the vision of knowing what Scentsy can create. Now, if I'm a dreamer, I'm looking at those goals and going, okay, yeah, I really would love for this to happen somewhere along the way. Maybe it will, right? Maybe if we did this someday, maybe if we made this happen someday, right? But when I look at these dreams, when I look at what I want to accomplish in 2025 and I connect it to Scentsy, that's the vision, right? Because I know what I need to do in my Scentsy business to then achieve that goal, right? So having a dream is really great. You know, our team, True Life, I'm a Dream Chaser. And then my team is Scented Dreamers, right? We love this idea of dreaming. We want you guys to dream big. That is really what we love. We are big on the open door opportunity for anybody to step into this business and to be able to dream big dreams and see Scentsy be able to unlock those doors. We love that. We want that. We encourage you to do that. And we don't want you to ever stop dreaming big dreams. Even after you've realized a dream, even after you've achieved something, we want you to then dream something else up, right? But now we think it's time to hone in on the vision. And truly, there's no better time than now. And I was saying this earlier on my Instagram story, about, I don't think that there's some like magical thing that happens on January 1st. I don't think that there's some wand that gets waved over all of us while we're sleeping or while we're waiting for the ball to drop at 12 o'clock. I don't think that something magical happens when it strikes 1/1/2025. What I do think that happens is people have this renewed sense of clean slate and a renewed sense of, okay, it's a blank page, it's a blank year. It's like starting on Monday. I can start on Monday. I'll go to the gym on Monday. I'll eat better on Monday, right? I'll budget on Monday. Like, we love a Monday because it's a clean slate for the week. It's a fresh start. And that's what a new year provides. But truly, there's nothing magical about it unless, right, that's the dream, is that it's some magical thing that just happens to us and it's passive. But the reality of it is that the things that you're looking forward to achieving in that new year has to come from within a vision that requires actionable things, that requires intention, right? Planned aspiration for achieving those things. And so now is a perfect time to hone in on that specific vision for your business. So I don't know if you have sat down yet and thought about what you want in your Scentsy business for 2025. If you haven't yet, I encourage you to do that. I know that we're 7 days in, and like I just said, I don't think something magical happens on 1/1. In fact, in years past, I have felt this stress and anxiety about coming up with a word and a theme and all by 1/1, so I can post it and I can, put it on my wall and whatever. And I really relaxed that side of me, because there is a side that is desperate for that. I really relaxed that side of me this year, and or at the end of 2024, and said, I'm just going to pray about it, and I'm going to pray that God gives me what he wants for 2025, whether it's a word, whether it's a verse, whether it's an idea, whatever. I'm going to wait for the Lord to tell me. And if you're not religious or spiritual or in the faith, that's okay. This is just my experience. And I kid you not, this word came to me on Sunday. And so now I have my word, and we were 5 days in, so it's okay if you don't have it all figured out, or you're not sure where your Scentsy business is going to take you yet. But I want you to encourage to start dreaming about it if you haven't. And if you have dreamt about it, now I want you to start taking vision. Now I want you to really recognize dreaming only gets you so far, right? And a perfect example of this is actually when you dream, right? So you go to sleep, you fall into that REM sleep, and all of a sudden you're in the midst of a dream, right? And this dream can be dreaming. This dream can be going, right? And you're doing this and you're doing that and you're feeling it and it feels so real. But then all of a sudden your alarm clock goes off and boom, you're awake, right? And you wake up and you're in your bed. You're not in the place that your dream was. You're not no longer tied to those emotions or that person that you were having a conversation with, or that place that you were at. You're not there, right? Now you're awake. It's 6:01. Your kids are getting up. You're in your bed. You're in your home. Your dream only took you so far, and it's only a dream. But the vision says when you wake up, you're going to be active in making that dream come true. And obviously, probably not the dream you were dreaming, because I don't know about y'all, but I have some real crazy dreams that I'd prefer not to come true. But in your Scentsy business, that's the difference. That's the difference between writing it down on a piece of paper and sticking it in your office and every day looking at it going, yeah, it sure would be nice to promote to director. Yeah, it sure would be nice to have a $10,000 paycheck. When I get there, I'll be able to buy this house, or it sure would be nice to make $500 next month. And then when you walk out of your office, nothing changes, right? You're not doing the things. The vision hasn't come to life yet. And that's what we want you guys to hone in on now. That's what we want you guys to recognize is where the magic actually happens and where the dreams actually come true. It's not wishing on a star. It's not writing down your word. It's not putting it in your planner. It's not putting it in chat. It's all of that plus action. Okay. So cool. How do I do that? Right? How do we do that? Well, Scentsy actually has helped you in this. And this is not the first time we've talked about this, but if you're new here, welcome. We love you. I'm so glad you're here. But Scentsy has this really cool thing called an action plan. And it is a consultant worksheet that you can go to your workstation and you can literally type in the training box, action plan, and this will pop up and you can download it and you can print it. Okay. And this is exactly what I'm talking about in Scentsy terms. Okay. Or in realistic terms. I don't know. I love the dream versus vision thing. So if that's not speaking your language, this will map it out for you perfectly, because this is asking you very specific questions about your Scentsy business, about where you are now and where you want to be and the gap. And that is the difference between dreaming and visions. There's that gap in the middle, right? And in that gap is action. Where you are right now and where you want to be is the difference of dreaming and having a vision. Okay. So it's asking you, where do you want to be and by when? That is the very first question this action plan asks you. And you are to write it down. Where are you today? Right? What is the gap between where you are now and where you want to be? Literally, word for word. SMART goals tells you what a SMART goal is, right? It gives you an example. And it helps you write down your action plan. 2 pages. Little spoiler alert, this is your call to action, okay? For the week, call to action is to print this out and get it filled out. Because this is exactly the first step that you need to take to fill in the gap between just being a dreamer and being a visionary. But hear me when I say it's just the first step, right? Because just because you're printing this out and writing it down, it's not all the action that it requires. If it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. Okay. So creating a roadmap and an action plan on how you're going to get to where you want to be. Couple tips for you that I have learned along the way and that I think would have been really helpful to know when I was doing all of this in the beginning. First tip for you when you're doing all of this, when you're starting to move towards your goals and the vision that you see, when you're doing all of that, my first tip for you to always remember in business and in life is to be flexible. Okay? Be flexible with yourself, with your goals. That doesn't mean throw out the baby with the bathwater if something goes mildly wrong. But that just means that if something does go wrong, you have a way to get around it to keep moving forward, right? Don't be so stingy on it has to happen this way on this timeline at this time within this place with this person, because it's just not going to work like that. I can tell you in your Scentsy business, it's not going to work like that, because living proof, The team that got me to director is not the team that I'm sitting here with as superstar director. Right. So if I would have been hell bent on making sure that I kept the same collective group of people to carry me to SSD and to be here right now, I would be very sad. I would be very sad. Okay. So the art of being flexible is hard for people who are a little OCD or a little type A. Me, it's hard. It can be really hard for us to be flexible. But the sooner that you allow yourself that freedom, the easier change becomes. And change is never super easy, but it becomes easier. It becomes easier to handle when you know that it's okay if it didn't work out like I thought it was going to. At least we're moving forward. At least I know it's going to work out because I've got a plan B. I've got a way around this obstacle, right? So just be flexible. My second tip for you is to be objective. Okay. This is a big one. This is one that I think that I really want to hone in this year with you guys here, with my own team, with just actually in general, is the art of being objective in our business, with ourselves, with our habits. It's really easy to have tunnel vision. You know, it's really easy to give somebody advice, but really hard to take it when it's your own drama or dealings, right? But if we can take a moment to sit back and go, if this was somebody else's business, what would I be telling them? What would I be encouraging them to do? Or if I was a brand new consultant, how would I be doing business today? Right? Or when I was a new consultant, what did I do? How far did I go? Right? I think about that a lot. What did I do as a new consultant that got me to where I was or where I'm at that I'm not doing today? Because what I did then was successful, right? Not everything, but a lot of the actions that I did. So I have to be objective enough with myself to say I'm not stuck in my ways, or I'm not stuck in doing what I've always done because I've always done it, or I've done for the last year or 2 years or 5 years. I need to be objective in my own business to say, wait a second, you're wasting your time on fluff. Get to your IPAs. The blessing and the curse of this business is you don't have a boss. I'm not going to be breathing down your neck. Alex isn't going to be breathing down your neck. Your sponsor's not going to be breathing down your neck. It's you and you alone at the end of the day who decides when the work is done and when you're giving up, when you're clocking out, right? And so you need to be able to be objective with yourself and really ask yourself the hard questions. Also, give yourself the pats on the back that you deserve, right? Celebrate those wins. But being objective in your business is going to provide you insight that you're going to wish you had in the end when it was a struggle, right? When you struggled, you're going to wish that you had the objective glasses on to be able to tell yourself, wait, no, it didn't have to be like that, right? And that's a skill. That's a skill that can be honed in on. That can be a skill that you can work on in little ways. But I encourage you to do that. I love you too, buddy. Okay, next tip. We talk about this one a lot. Again, if you're new here, this is your first time hearing it, but I love this one. And you know, I'm probably not very objective when it comes to this because I feel like I've always had this, but I do believe it's a game changer. I don't know what my business would look like without it. And that is an accountability partner. Okay. And I know some of you have been doing this business and you're like, I'm trucking along just fine. I don't know that I need anybody to talk to, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Right now, you may not. But having an accountability partner creates that safety net of objectivity, right? Because I actually think that it's impossible for us to be objective about everything in our business because it's a very thin line between being objective and being cynical, in my opinion. And so if you have an accountability partner who can look at your business, who can walk alongside you because you guys are in the same or close to the same place, working towards the same or close to the same goals, right? That's what your accountability partner should mirror where you're at, or a step above where you want to be, right? You guys should be very, very close to in line with each other. And so they should be able to look at your business objectively, right? Because it's much easier to look at somebody else's lawn than your own, and you vice versa. And the great thing about that is that y'all will be telling each other exactly what you need to hear when it's hard for you to do that for yourself. Having an accountability partner not only provides that objective outlook on your business and the insight and the advice you need, but also it's that extra pat on the back. And you may think you don't need that, you don't want that. I don't need that. I don't need a pat on the back from Alex when I'm doing something right. I really don't. Okay. I'm a pretty good cheerleader. I'm pretty good at motivating myself in that. However, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome when somebody who you care about, who you like, who you respect, who you admire says, hey, I see you. You did a really great job just then. Hey, your month last month was really awesome. And no, this person does not need to be your sponsor. This person does not need to be your best friend. This person does not need to be on this team. Okay, this person, the only really two requirements I would say is that they need to be in Scentsy, right? Because my husband is a great accountability partner. But for Scentsy, there's ins and outs of it that he does not understand. That if I went to him and was like, hey, what am I doing wrong? He'd be like, I don't know, right? There's just things about this business that he doesn't get, fundamentally does not get. I need somebody in the business, right? So your accountability partner should be in the business, and your accountability partner should be walking the same path you are at, or a step above the same level you are, or a step below. It's okay if you're the one step above, but y'all should be almost in line, walking towards the same goal. Having an accountability partner, to me, is a game changer. And if I'm being honest, it'd be a non-negotiable. When we're talking about dreaming and having the vision, I think that it's easy for us to get caught up in our dreams, because dreaming is easy because it's passive, right? Being a visionary is, one, a lot easier to do looking at somebody else's life, right? Because you're objective and you're not caught in the whirlwind of romanticizing what could be, because you're not in their life. You're looking at, okay, well, girl, if that's where you want to be, this is actually what you got to do because you're here and that's there, right? You automatically somehow become a visionary for somebody else. So if you feel like you're a dreamer and it's hard to be the visionary, then get yourself an accountability partner. Vice versa. If you are a visionary, then you need somebody to come along and say, yeah, girl, dream bigger. No, I think you can do that. Dream bigger. No, I think you should go a little bit bigger than that. Right? You need somebody who's going to push you to dream dreams that you would never dare thinking about, because you're caught up in, well, if I dream that big, then I have to do this big action to get there, and I have to go way outside my comfort zone, and they're going to go do it. Do it. What are you waiting for? Accountability partners are a huge benefit to your business. And it might take you one or two to get to the right one, but it's worth it. It's worth finding that person. Okay, my last tip for you is a big one. It's a big one. And just overarching over our Scentsy business this year, and over the dreams that you're going to dream and the visions that you are going to formulate and you're going to create action for, and you're going to start stepping into, I want you guys to remember this. And if you're writing this down, circle it, highlight it. Mindset is a choice. Now, I am talking to right now, our amazing team, who I 30 minutes ago just got done saying how incredible your mindset is when it comes to having the right attitude when things go wrong. So to y'all, I say, I know you guys are capable of this. As a collective group, y'all have proven time and time again that despite your emotions, despite your feelings, despite disappointment, your mindset can still be on a steady, controlled course, right? So I know you guys are capable of this, but it's not necessarily that mindset that I'm referring to, but it is the mindset in terms of following through with whatever you need to do to achieve your vision, right? Because we are really good at making excuses or changing our mindset in a moment time, flipping our mindset to going, I don't need to do that today. It's not that big of a deal. It can wait. Your mindset and the importance in which you take your Scentsy business, your goals, your dreams, your visions, the importance in which you make that is a mindset choice. You can choose to make it priority. And when I say make it priority, I don't mean that Scentsy has to become everything you live, breathe, eat, and die. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Scentsy is very much a priority in my life, but I'm not doing Scentsy all the time. Is it on my mind? Yes. Am I thinking about the incentive? Yeah, sometimes. But I also have other things going on, but it's a priority. Sometimes I have to tell myself that when I sit down at this desk to do something that I don't feel like doing. And there will be times, maybe tomorrow, maybe on Friday, maybe in 2 months, that you're going to come across that time where you're going to go, I don't feel like doing this. And the mindset in which drives you to make an excuse is a choice. And also, the mindset that drives you to sit down, buckle down, and do it is also a choice, which is really great news, right? Because whatever mindset you're in right now or then can be changed. That's great. It's really awesome. You are in total control of which way you go. I love that for me, and I hate that for me. Because I know if I make a choice that's not great, I only have myself to blame. But I want to spend a lot less time beating myself up this year because I made the bad choice. And a lot more time being proud of myself and being disciplined in my business and saying that the mindset that I need to be in is focused on my vision. Every time I sit at this desk, I need to think about what action is getting me closer to not just being a dreamer. I want to be a visionary too, right? So that mindset that you're in, that mindset that you're going to be in, that mindset that maybe you want to be in is all a choice. It takes discipline. It takes intention. And it takes choosing. And just like we say, small steps every day pave the way, right? But also small decisions to not move at all keep you stuck, right? So in your pursuit of your vision, don't lose sight of your dreams. Don't stop dreaming, no matter how hard the work is, no matter how long you got to do it, no matter what you have to do. Don't ever stop dreaming. But it's time to wake up and chase the vision.